as a public school teacher.
Yes.
In the state. But, and I'm quoting from your material, a person in the process of getting a license may be hired.
Let me let them address that.
Okay, in terms of staffing, and what we're trying to do is to make a clear separation, and I'd like to address that now. We will have an additional meeting, particularly for those types of questions, because there are some questions out there that, based on the literature that you have, need to be addressed and refined. And we will do that. So rather than bring that into the arena this evening, and which might convolute a little bit of what you just went through, because I thought that she pushed a lot at you, but it was a wealth of information. We will have a separate meeting for prospective staff, and we will address questions that prospective teachers have, that other staff members might have, that pertain to licensure and anything that may be out there.
This question also proceeded to, will you be training teachers in this new method?
Absolutely.
The majority of teachers may not well know how to do it.
I don't know how to do it. I will find out. We are going to provide the training on site here. We'll bring in a trainer for 5 days of FIE. We will also have 5 days of balanced literacy and also core knowledge. So there are actually 3 components that go with this. You're seeing what we feel is the most pivotal of the 3 this evening. And we are so blessed to have access to Dr. Levert right here in Marion, Indiana. I think she's been put here for a reason, and I think we all know what that is. But she has some remarkable expertise.
And the second thing, we want everybody to be sure of that every teacher will be trained. The parents will be trained. And we will have on-site coaching to help teachers. And I think that's going to be the key, the coaching that will be provided for teachers to make sure. Because, I mean, if you're looking for a choice, and we say that we are providing a choice, then we need to be consistent in doing that, and we want our kids to be successful. So, therefore, the coaches will be in and out of the classrooms to assist. Any other questions? Yes? Yes.
Or is there any additional assessment?
Well, we're going to use a lot, but the ISTEP will still be the major one, and I think there's the NWEA will be.
Probably maybe 3 to 4 times a year on NWEA, which is the Northwest Assessment piece, which is relevant pretty much right now in the Marion Community Schools system, and that is a barometer by which we do an assessment early on in the fall. We follow it up with an additional assessment right after Christmas. Then we move in and take another assessment sometime in the spring, and then as the exit occurs at the end of the year, we do an additional assessment. That reason, framework being that, that we would like to see where the children are as they first enter. We would also like to know, as we attack this, rather than allowing the entire school year to go by, we want to know if the kids are getting it. We want to know within the first couple of months if the kids are getting it. If they aren't getting it, we've got to take a look again and say, why not? Is it, and I'm not laying blame, but I'm saying, why not? We better be pulling these kids forward. I'm going to say something about, unlike other entities, this is a charter school, and we don't have that cushion of luxury to keep on going year after year after year if we don't achieve. And we will achieve.
I think one of the main things we want you to walk away understanding is that we will be identifying the cognitive functions. That's the uniqueness of the school, that we will identify the cognitive functions that are not working. So the teachers have a double duty there to teach the balanced literacy, core knowledge, well, triple, and also to identify the cognitive functions that are not working in students, correct them, and move them on to the right path. And you'll see a difference. You'll see a difference in yourselves, and you'll see a difference in your students. And that's what we're finding all around the country, schools who have embraced FIE. I think we have a, yes?
Can you talk for a minute about the transition from this approach back into the regular public school? Since you only go through 5th grade, obviously those kids are going to be channeled back into whatever school systems are around here.
The only thing I can think of is that if they when they transition back, and hopefully by that time we'll have the other grades, because we do want to go to 12th grade, but that's later on. But if they transition back, it should make them a better student because we've tapped into an area that has not been tapped into in public schools. So they're thinking, they're processing, they're making judgments, so they're going to be better. They've taken control. They're at that awareness level where they're taking control of their thinking. They're very conscious of the things that's happening to them.
And as a follow-up, so the plan is to go through K-12?
At some point, yes. Yes. Yes.
You said that part of this approach is about not labeling kids too early with some sort of negative label. What if they need to be labeled? Will testing services be available here?
Well, I'm sorry.
Will testing services be available?
Yeah.
And special needs? What kind of special needs will be available?
Yeah.
If there is a true learning disability?
If there's a true one, yes, we will have those resources because we did have to put those into the proposal for Ball State to approve. So that will happen.
If I could add is that we will have on staff a person that is responsible for that. That would be a licensed special education teacher. It would not be merely a teacher of record. It would be a licensed teacher for access to all of the classrooms and all of the children who have that specific need, whatever that may be. So the licensure, for those sitting there right now that are prospective teachers, we are very tight on that. Ball State University does not just automatically grant charters. This was a 3-year process by this board, and they worked diligently to make sure that this was solid. And I can guarantee you that we're going to go for solid individuals. And if if you have a background in teaching skills and you say, well, this is the way I did it over here and over there, I would ask this. I would ask you to become more of a lifelong learner, because that's what the need is right now in this society. So you can bring some of your skills, but you need to bring that thought that I'm ready to learn this, because this world is different. And when I attended a session, one of the last in New York, on a Saturday morning, I met Meyer, and he is a mathematical whiz. And when I went through this system, this concept was not around, and I am not a math person. And I just did not get it. I did not get the math. But after 1 hour listening to this gentleman and watching his approach, I thought to myself, had I been taught that, I would have gotten it. That was the feeling that I walked away with after 1 hour with this guy, and he knew exactly what he was doing. And I thought it was me for all of these years, but it wasn't. So that's really quite a hope.
We also believe in inclusion, so your child will be in the mix. I've gone into some inclusion classes where we didn't know who had an IEP, who had one, and who did not have one. So it's the mindset of the teacher, it's the mindset of the school. So I think we had a question in the back.
Will you use the traditional age bracket for classrooms? In other words, like first graders, second graders, third graders?
Yes.
Will you incorporate some of the Montessori methods of teaching where they integrate the students by different age?
We're going to use grades.
Right.
And we have not thought, we did not put that in our proposal. So we're going to use the regular grading at the regular schools. It's just a regular school, but we just believe that there is another way. Yes.
How do you define at-risk students?
Well, I don't like to define at-risk because Feuerstein said there are no at-risk kids.
It says at-risk very frequently.
Okay.
Well, because we use the jargon that the school used, and that's what we felt that they were expecting. We said at risk, but we call them under challenged when we think about them from a cognitive perspective. But that at risk is a label that we put on kids, and so we use the jargon that Ball State would understand, but we're changing. If you notice throughout our document, we move to the cognitive format. So you will see that at risk there because that's the labels, those are some of the labels. That.
And in addition to that, Grant County is considered an at-risk area, and that is why they put that in their literature.
And
Okay.
the PowerPoint that we were addressing last meeting, 24% of this locale in Grant County are people are functionally illiterate. They are not functionally literate. So when you take a look at the needs,